Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and more. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. It's that time of the week again. We have to talk about the Real Housewives of New York. And I know it's been a snooze fest. And I can honestly say that New York is my favorite city of the franchise, but this is definitely not my favorite season. However, we have to remember, and I know I keep saying this, but we have to remember this was filmed during a pandemic. It was filmed during, social injustice. A lot of people have mixed feelings about Eboni. And look, I'm a straight shooter. Pow, 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 pow. Eboni has moments where I'm like, okay, girl, this is not the time or the place. Let's just have a good time. But the conversations, especially in this episode, I feel are necessary. And I understand where Eboni's coming from. And people have to understand where Eboni's coming from. And look, not every Black person feels the way that Eboni does, as we see with Bershan. And we'll get to Bershan in a second. But I think a lot of people of color, Black people specifically, felt the movement when it happened because of what we saw on TV, because of what we happened to see with police brutality, even though we've been seeing it over the years. But now with social media and with the constant barrage of it on social media and on TV, everyone, every single person, not just Black people, were inspired to get out and march. Has this been an important movement for Eboni before this? I'm sure. Is this an important conversation that she's having on the show? Yes. And I know there are a lot of people like, oh, I just want to have fun. I don't watch the show to be educated, Ramona. But trust and believe, I've heard other people say this to me, that, I don't watch the show for this. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. Get ready to be uncomfortable. This is what reality TV is. If you would like an escape from reality, then go watch something scripted. Go watch something scripted. This is reality TV. We're always saying that we want reality TV to be real. And now when it's real, you're uncomfortable because it's something that you haven't dealt with yourself. With that being said, there has to be a balance. And as I said to you before, I know you're like, Kempire, you're on the fence. You're always on the fence. And I will twerk on that fence because not all of us think the same. And some of us are in the middle. Some of us do think, you know what? Yes, these are important conversations to have, but yes, there needs to be a balance of let's have some fun too, because in life, we need balance, right? Okay, let's get into it. I know I jumped right into the hard stuff, but let's talk about some of the fun stuff. So Ramona and Bershan, they meet up, and of course they talk about Eboni. And Bershan, and I like what Bershan said. She was like, you know what? Yes, I understand that you guys don't want to be preached at, but at the same time, this is important to Eboni, and understandably, it is an important issue. Is she just saying that for TV, and does she not agree? I don't know. We're just getting to know Bershan, but I like Bershan so far. She's different, and as I said before, not all Black people think the same, y'all. We're not a monolith. Moving on, Eboni and Sonia go to Philly, and I was so happy to see Devin Simone, who we've seen multiple times on the Wendy Williams show, be on. I didn't know Devin was. Look. We be out here, y'all, with multiple jobs. Trust me, I understand Devin. Devin is not just a entertainment correspondent. She is also a matchmaker and has a matchmaking business. First of all, I've always said I love Devin when she drops by Wendy Williams. She's shady, she's fun, she's beautiful, but she's also a matchmaker. And I loved this meeting that she was having with Sonia to find her love. And you know what? I love the fact that Eboni, because everyone that comes on the show always tries to surround Sonia with love and tries to help her. And sometimes it blows up in their faces. Hopefully that won't happen to Eboni, especially because she's trying to find her love. I thought this was a really cute scene. I love the fact that Eboni is bringing on some of her Black girlfriends on the show. But we need more Devin, because Devin, I know, has a big and fun personality. Natalie, Eboni's other friend, I'm sure she might have a big, wonderful personality, or maybe not. We haven't seen it. I just like seeing her pretty face. But with that being said, I want to see more of Devin. Can we get more Devin Simone? Devin Simone has a great... You guys don't even know. You didn't even get to see the icing on the cake when it comes to Devin Simone and her personality. Devin has a bright future, y'all. I could see a talk show. I could see maybe a panel show with Devin, but I'm digressing, as always. But I enjoyed this for Sonia. I actually do hope Sonia, how old is Sonia? 50 something? Maybe almost 60? If not, I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. Either way, I think, honestly, I know Sonia has this energy, like she likes to date around and blah, 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 blah. No, I think Sonia would like to get married again, settle down, find the love of her life. She just hasn't since the ending with Mr. Morgan. That was the love of her life, even though she might have allegedly cheated on him. Leah. I mean, I have to say, Leah didn't annoy me as much this episode. Yes, we're going to pretend that she planned this entire Salem trip, but I thought the Salem trip was kind of cool, especially when they get to the hotel. But before they get to the hotel, they're shopping for vibrators on this big tour bus. Of course. And this is how Bershan mixes well with the ladies, because she does have this fun energy. She's not afraid to talk about sex. I wish her luck with Ramona, because Ramona doesn't, which is okay. But we also get to learn a little bit more about Bershan. You know, I've seen a few interviews with Bershan, so I know a little bit of her story. I didn't know, though, that she was married to a British banker, and that we also found out that she had been diagnosed and has been cancer-free for 13 years. But she was diagnosed with cancer right before her wedding. Whew. She has a very interesting story, and shout out to you, Bershan. So happy to see that you're doing well, and 13 years in remission. Amazing. So as I said to you before, they're going to Salem. They're at this hotel. They're telling you the story of the hotel, that witches were killed at this hotel. I don't know how I would feel about that, but very much like Luann, I would have been burning sage in my room, and I'm sure Luann slept very well while she was there. Y'all know I believe in some sage. Look, you call me a witch or whatever you want to call me. I burn sage on the weekly. Yes, I don't play. I believe in energy. That's science, y'all. There's energy everywhere. Gotta move it sometimes and get that bad energy out my house. But of course, they are there. It's a latex and leather party, of course, because, you know, it's Leah. Leah, like I said to you before, wasn't as annoying this episode. I like the latex and leather and lace, whatever, party. So they get dressed up. They all look great. They head on over to this, you know, bar, pub, whatever you want to call it. And of course, it leads to a heavy conversation. But before we get into the heavy conversation, the twins that were meant to scare Sonia. Sonia's like, You're not scary. You're kind of sexy, both of you. I can't with Sonia. Sonia, you can't even see their faces. Masks can make a lot of people look really cute. I'm just saying, let's be real. I want to see them without the mask. And they were a little creepy standing the way that they were standing. Okay, so let's get to this heavy conversation. So the ladies do have a heavy conversation with Eboni, Bershan. Everyone's there. But I have to call Sonia out. And we've seen this over the years. Sonia has played both sides of the fence, not even twerking on the fence. She plays both sides of the, like she'll say one thing with one group of the ladies and then another thing with another group of the ladies. We've seen it over the years, and we do see it with Eboni and her with the other ladies. But I do think Sonia means well, but some of the things that she was even saying during the conversation, I was just like, I understand the conversation is uncomfortable, Sonia, but I'm not sure what you're trying to say here. Look, we have to also remember that Eboni is a lawyer. She knows how to defend herself, so I'm not even worried about Eboni. I am a little worried about how Eboni is treating Bershan, because even when Bershan was speaking, look, you may not agree with her, Eboni, but making this face is a little condescending. And it says to me that you're not open to her idea. And I understand that you don't agree with her, but if you're truly open, your body language says a lot. And your body language in that moment was saying to me, you're not open to what she has to say and you're being condescending. One thing I thought was interesting, Eboni's mother voted for Trump in 2016. She's not the only Black person, y'all. She's not the only Black person that did that. Here's the argument that they were having, and I think Eboni was really trying to navigate that conversation, but at the same time have the conversation. And I have to say, Leah was a great ally in the conversation. But with that being said, Ramona's stepping away. Ramona refusing. Ramona and her white person's dance. Oh, I'm white dance, according to Leah. Leah, okay, I'll give it to you, Leah. You know I don't give it to you every week. But I'm white dance. That made me laugh. I can see her doing it right now. But Ramona refuses to talk about religion. She refuses to talk about politics because, as we know, she voted for Trump. And there's no shame in it. As Eboni, well, maybe it's a little shame. Eboni says, people voted for Trump for different reasons. But we have to understand as well, yes, you may have voted for him because of his, tax policies, whatever it may be. But you also ignored all of his homophobic, his making fun of disabled people, his openly racist and open and supportive of racist ideals. You voted for that too, because despite all of that, you said, I still have to vote for him. I still have to vote for him. See, that's where it's really hard. In 2016, even though there was a lot of issues, when he became president, he showed you multiple times who he is. We could go down the list, but I'm not going to. This is a reality TV recap. This is not policy. This is not politics. But I get where Eboni is coming from, because she's saying, you know what? If you vote for him, you're really voting away any opportunities for people that look like me, for people that look like me, or people that are part of the LGBTQIA community, people that are, immigrants. Let's not forget, remember the Ish Whole Country statement? Remember the insurrection? Remember the, we could go down the list. There's a lot of reasons not to vote for this person. And if he was a Democrat, we wouldn't be voting for him either. But with that being said, it was an important conversation. And I know a lot of people probably have turned off their TVs because they are uncomfortable watching these conversations. But these conversations are necessary because, as I said at the top of this review, these are conversations that we have to have. We are always saying that we want real TV, reality TV. This is real. This is what was happening during the pandemic. But this is also what's been happening in this country for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. Sonia not letting Bershan talk. I already was like, this is the foreshadowing of what's going to go down between Sonia and Bershan. I want to see how Bershan navigates this conflict with Sonia. I want to see how Bershan and Eboni navigate this conversation. And I know a lot of people are thinking, they're going to love each other because they're Black. No, people are people. Okay? Not everyone's going to like each other. Not everyone's going to agree. And not all Black people think the same, especially when it comes to these particular issues. However, I do feel like Bershan had Eboni's back when talking to Ramona. It may not have been the way that everyone expected her to, but I do feel like she was like, yes, there's an element, and I've said it here on the channel. Yes, we should have fun. Yes, I want to see another side of Eboni. But with that being said, everything she's talking about is necessary, is important, and matters to me too, because I am a Black woman. Not me. I don't know what I'm talking. I'm talking for Bershan. But one of the things that Ramona said that I thought was important to bring up and talk about was when she said, I want your life. You have a good life because she has things. If we've learned nothing, Oprah talked about when she was in France being, harassed in a high-end store, a billionaire. It doesn't matter how much money a Black person has. And I'm sure plenty of Black millionaires and billionaires will tell you their experiences with racism after having money. It doesn't change who you are. And this is when we get into the whole conversation about Portia. Is she doing activism? No, that's where I have to defend Portia, because no matter what, especially Portia is a reality star. Yes, some people might know who she is, but the fact that she still went out there on the front lines and got arrested is still, no matter if you want to say she did it for a storyline, no matter if you want to say it was activism, no, she still risked her life. Those police officers aren't watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta. They probably don't even know who she is. And even with that being said, even if they did, you think that they care? So when Ramona says to Eboni, oh, I want your life. You have this and you have that. Yeah, but she's still a Black woman. That's still not going to stop her getting killed from the police. That's still not going to stop her from not getting opportunities because of the color of her skin. That's still not going to change the laws that are in place around this country that are still very much racist. But I'm glad she said it, though, because it shows to a lot of people where we're having this conversation. You're like, oh, I never thought of it that way. You might be uncomfortable watching The Real Housewives of New York, and you might not be fully entertained. I get it. I do want a balance in my reality TV. But at the same time, for them to ignore these conversations would be irresponsible. As always, I want to continue the conversation in the comment section, even if you disagree or agree. Let's have the conversation in the comment section. But as always, be respectful or be deleted. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I want to know your thoughts on the latest episode of The Real Housewives of New York. Are you enjoying it? And why aren't you enjoying it? Don't just tell me, no, I'm not enjoying it. Why aren't you enjoying it? Who is not bringing it? Who do you want to see come back next season? I definitely want to see Dorinda come back. Tinsley has to come back just so they can figure out that situation. And Tinsley's single again. But I'm open to actual housewives coming back to New York. And from what we hear, they are looking for new housewives for The Real Housewives of New York. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload.